had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. In the year 55, 55.
That's the night that the lights went out in Georgia.
Fire to destroy all you've done.
The 60s and 70s gave us unforgettable songs, but some carried darker stories beneath the melody. Murder, heartbreak, tragedy, forbidden love, greed, and fear were hidden inside records that once filled American radios. Decades later, these songs still create the same strange feeling, nostalgia mixed with chills. Today, we're counting down 15 one-hit wonders and forgotten classics that still give us chills.
In the heat of a summer night.
Number 15, The Night Chicago Died, Paper Lace. Millions of listeners once heard this song and thought they were hearing a true story. They weren't. The Night Chicago Died became a #1 hit for Paper Lace in 1974, describing a terrifying shootout between Chicago police and gangsters connected to Al Capone. The song sounds almost like a historical news report, with gunfire, panic, and a worried son waiting for news about his father. But there was one enormous problem. The battle described in the song never happened. It was fictional, written by two British songwriters who had never even been to Chicago. Yet the cinematic storytelling made the story feel strangely believable. Paper Lace never matched the American success of this record again.
They were shouting in the streets, and the sound of ringing feet.
And that is what makes it such a fascinating time capsule. A bright, catchy pop song built around a dark piece of imaginary history.
In the year 35, 35, ain't gonna need.
Number 14, In the Year 2525, Zager and Evans.
In the year 25, 25.
In 1969, Zager and Evans imagined a future that sounded impossible and somehow made it frightening. In the Year 2525 moves through centuries, imagining technology gradually taking control of almost every part of human life. People become dependent on machines. Their choices become increasingly automated, and eventually the song asks whether humanity itself will survive.
In the year 55, 55.
It became a worldwide sensation and reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. But this was never really a celebration of the future. It was a warning. The further the song moves forward in time, the colder and more disturbing its vision becomes. Zager and Evans never achieved another American hit anywhere near the same level.
He'll either say I'm pleased where man has been, or tear it down.
And that may be why the song feels so strange today. A record written more than half a century ago about a distant future can still make us wonder whether some of its warnings were not as unrealistic as they seemed.
Goodbye, my friend, it's hard to die.
Number 13, Seasons in the Sun, Terry Jacks.
We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun.
It sounds warm, gentle, and almost comforting. But Seasons in the Sun is really a farewell. Terry Jacks released his version in 1973 and turned an older song into a worldwide phenomenon. The narrator looks back at friends, family, and ordinary moments that once seemed insignificant. But now those memories carry a different weight, because he is saying goodbye.
When all the birds are singing in the sky.
The bright melody makes the sadness even more powerful. The song reached #1 in America and became one of the most recognizable emotional records of the 1970s. Its real strength, however, is nostalgia. It reminds listeners that ordinary moments often become precious only after they are gone.
But the wine and the song, like the seasons, have all gone.
A childhood friend, an old neighborhood, a family member, suddenly those memories can feel like another lifetime. That is why hearing Seasons in the Sun decades later can feel almost physical. It does not simply remind you of the past. It makes you miss a past you may never be able to return to.
See the tree, how big it's grown, but friend, it hasn't been too long.
Number 12, Honey, Bobby Goldsboro.
Then the first snow came and she ran out to brush the snow away.
The saddest part of Honey isn't the ending. It's the ordinary memories that come before it. Bobby Goldsboro released the song in 1968, telling the story of a man remembering his wife through the little things she used to do. Her habits, her personality, the things that once seemed insignificant, all of them suddenly become precious because she is no longer there.
She was always young at heart, kinda dumb and kinda smart.
That simple storytelling helped Honey become a huge commercial success, reaching #1 on the country chart and becoming a major pop hit as well. Some listeners considered it deeply moving, while others thought it was overly sentimental. But nobody could easily forget the story. Unlike Seasons in the Sun, which feels like a broad farewell to an entire life, Honey works through tiny domestic memories.
And honey, I miss you.
And that makes its sadness more intimate. It reminds us that when someone disappears from our lives, it is often the smallest things we remember most. Number 11, Young Girl, Gary Puckett and the Union Gap.
You've kept the secret of your youth.
It sounded like a sweet love song. Then people started listening to the words. Young Girl, released by Gary Puckett and the Union Gap in 1968, tells the story of a man who discovers that the girl he is attracted to is much younger than he originally believed. Instead of continuing the relationship, he realizes he has to walk away. That uncomfortable subject sits beneath an incredibly polished pop arrangement, creating a strange contrast between the sound and the story. The song became a major hit and reached the top 10 in America. But time changed the way people heard it. What sounded like a romantic warning to many listeners in the 1960s can feel considerably more uncomfortable today.
And though you know that it's wrong to be.
And that is precisely why it still gets attention. The melody sounds innocent, the situation does not. Sometimes a song becomes more fascinating as generations change, because the audience begins hearing meanings that were easier to overlook when the record first appeared. Number 10, Fire, The Crazy World of Arthur Brown. Before music videos became theatrical, Arthur Brown walked onto a stage wearing fire on his head. In 1968, Fire introduced one of rock's strangest performers to a massive audience. The song opened with an unforgettable scream, followed by psychedelic keyboards, dramatic vocals, and an intensity that sounded almost dangerous on ordinary radio. But Brown himself was part of the spectacle. His elaborate costumes and flaming helmet turned his performances into something closer to theater than a conventional rock concert. Fire became a major international hit and reached the top 10 in America. But Brown never reproduced that level of mainstream success. Instead, he became a cult figure whose image remained almost as memorable as the record itself. And that is why Fire still works today. You are not simply hearing a song, you are hearing a performer who seemed determined to make the audience wonder whether rock music had suddenly become something much stranger. Number 9, Spirit in the Sky, Norman Greenbaum. You only need a few seconds. That guitar riff arrives, and you already know the song. Spirit in the Sky was released by Norman Greenbaum in 1969, combining distorted guitar, gospel influences, and a powerful vocal sound into something that seemed almost impossible to categorize. The strange part is that Greenbaum was not originally known as a heavy rock performer. His background was much closer to folk and comedy, yet he somehow created one of the most instantly recognizable sounds of the era. The record reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became a worldwide hit, while Greenbaum never came close to repeating that success with another major recording. What makes the song so powerful is the collision of sounds, gritty electric guitar against gospel-style spirituality. It feels both earthly and otherworldly at the same time. And when that riff comes through a speaker today, the first reaction is often immediate recognition, before you even realize you are smiling.
He was on his way home from Candletop, been 2 weeks gone.
Number 8, The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, Vicki Lawrence.
Andy Warlow said hello, and he said hi, what's doing, whoa?
Everyone thought they knew who committed the murder. Then the final lines changed everything. The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia turned Vicki Lawrence into an unlikely recording star in 1972. The song follows Andy, a man accused of killing his friend after returning home to Georgia. But instead of simply telling us what happened, the song slowly reveals the story through accusations, witnesses, rumors, and a courtroom.
Said I'm your best friend and you know that's right, but your young bride ain't home.
The record eventually reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Its real power, however, is the twist. The narrator appears to be telling us the story from the outside, but the final revelation forces you to rethink everything you have just heard. It is almost like a crime movie compressed into a few minutes of music.
That's the night that the lights went out in Georgia.
And that is why the song still works. Even if you already know the ending, you find yourself listening for the clues, wondering whether you can catch the truth before the final line gives it away.
As she lay there beneath the covers.
Number 7, The Ballad of Lucy Jordan, Mary Ann Faithfull.
At the age of 37.
In 1979, Mary Ann Faithfull turned The Ballad of Lucy Jordan into a haunting portrait of suburban loneliness. Written by Shel Silverstein, the song follows a 37-year-old housewife who has a husband, children, and a comfortable home, yet feels trapped in a life that has lost its meaning.
And the kids were off to school.
The story becomes darker as Lucy dreams of escape. She imagines freedom, adventure, and a life far beyond her daily routine. Faithfull's deep, weathered voice makes the desperation feel painfully real. Then Lucy climbs onto the rooftop, creating an ending that leaves us wondering whether she has finally escaped or lost touch with reality.
Screaming all the way.
That mystery is what makes the song so chilling. Decades later, it still feels powerful because it shows how an ordinary life can hide extraordinary loneliness. Number 6, Stuck in the Middle with You, Stealers Wheel.
Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right, here I am.
This used to be a fun 1970s song. Then one movie scene changed the way millions of people heard it forever. Stuck in the Middle with You was released by Stealers Wheel in 1973, with a playful rhythm and catchy chorus that made it an easy radio favorite. Nothing about it sounded threatening.
Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right, here I am.
Then Quentin Tarantino placed it in the infamous warehouse scene of Reservoir Dogs. The cheerful music continued while the violence on screen became increasingly disturbing. That contrast was so effective that it permanently changed the emotional meaning of the song for many listeners. Stealers Wheel never achieved another record with the same cultural impact.
And you're filthy, I'll come calling, slap you on the back and say,
Today, the song has almost two personalities. One belongs to the carefree 1970s, parties, radio, and nostalgia. The other belongs to cinema, tension, violence, and unease. And that is the strange power of music. Sometimes a song does not change at all. The memory attached to it changes everything. Number 5. OOH Child. 5 Stair Steps.
Someday, yeah, we'll put it together and we'll get it undone.
After all the darkness in this countdown, one song offers something different. Hope. OOH Child by the 5 Stair Steps arrived in 1970 with a simple message. Difficult times will eventually pass. Its warm vocals, relaxed groove, and reassuring chorus helped it become a major hit, reaching the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. But its staying power has little to do with chart statistics. The song speaks directly to anyone who has ever felt that life was falling apart. It does not promise that problems will disappear immediately. It simply says that better days are coming. That message has allowed the song to survive across generations, appearing in movies, television, and countless nostalgic moments. After stories about murder, greed, controversy, and tragedy, OOH Child changes the mood of the entire countdown, and that contrast matters. Sometimes a song gives you chills because it frightens you. Other times, it happens because a few simple words arrive at exactly the moment you need to hear them.
Why does the sun go on shining?
Number 4. The End of the World. Skeeter Davis.
Why do the birds go on singing?
What if your entire world ended, but everyone else simply carried on? That is the devastating idea behind Skeeter Davis's The End of the World. Released in 1962, the song describes heartbreak through an almost impossible contradiction. The sun still rises, birds still sing, people continue with their ordinary lives. But for the person singing, none of it feels real anymore.
Don't they know it's the end?
Davis's fragile vocal makes the loneliness feel almost physical, as though she is trying to understand how the world can remain normal when everything inside her has changed. The song became a major international hit and reached the top 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. But its real legacy is emotional.
I can't understand. No, I can't.
It captures a very specific kind of grief. The moment when you realize the world does not stop simply because your own life has been shattered. More than 60 years later, that feeling remains painfully recognizable. And sometimes that is what makes a song truly haunting.
He saw a sign for a stock car race.
Number 3. Tell Laura I Love Her. Ray Peterson.
Tell her I love her.
He only wanted to prove his love. He never imagined the race would be his last. Tell Laura I Love Her, recorded by Ray Peterson in 1960, became one of the defining teenage tragedy songs of the early rock era. The story follows a young man who enters a dangerous stock car race because he wants to win money and prove something to Laura.
I've something to do that cannot.
But the excitement suddenly turns into tragedy when the race ends in a fatal accident. As he lies dying, his final concern is not himself. It is making sure Laura knows that he loves her. The record reached the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became one of Peterson's signature songs. Some radio stations objected to the tragic subject matter, but that only made the record more memorable. What makes it so effective is the speed of the emotional change. Youthful romance becomes danger, danger becomes tragedy, and tragedy ends with one final sentence of love. It feels less like a song than a heartbreaking movie compressed into 3 minutes. Number 2. A Whiter Shade of Pale. Procol Harum.
The crowd called out for more.
For decades, people have listened to this song without completely agreeing on what it means. A Whiter Shade of Pale arrived in 1967 with a haunting organ line and lyrics that seemed to come from a dream. The record became one of the defining sounds of the Summer of Love, reaching #1 in Britain and #5 on the Billboard Hot 100. But its greatest mystery was not its success. It was the song itself. The lyrics are filled with strange images, while the music creates a tension between beauty and unease. Keith Reid later explained that the title came first, inspired by a phrase he heard at a gathering, and the rest of the song grew around it. Even today, listeners can hear romance, confusion, psychedelia, or something almost supernatural in the same recording. Maybe that is the secret. You do not have to understand A Whiter Shade of Pale completely to feel it. You only have to hear those first notes.
They call the rising sun.
#1. The House of the Rising Sun, The Animals. Some songs remind you of the 1960s. This one makes you feel like you have been pulled directly into them. The House of the Rising Sun was already an old traditional song before the Animals transformed it into a dark rock classic in 1964. Its exact origins remain uncertain, with versions of the song going back decades before the band's recording.
And the only time to be satisfied.
But the Animals gave it a completely different intensity. Eric Burdon's raw, desperate voice rises over the dramatic organ and guitar, creating an atmosphere that feels almost haunted. The recording reached #1 in both Britain and America and remained at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 for 3 weeks. The Animals had other successful records, which is why this belongs under Forgotten Classics, rather than strict one-hit wonders.
Oh, mother, tell your children.
But nothing else in their catalog created the same shadow. More than 60 years later, those opening notes still do something remarkable. They do not merely remind you of another era. They pull you inside it. Dark, mysterious, and timeless. This is the kind of song that does not fade into history. It waits there for you. And there you have them. 15 unforgettable songs that proved a great record can be more than just a hit. Some told stories of tragedy. Others explored fear, loneliness, heartbreak, or hope. Yet decades later, they still have the power to bring back memories and send chills down our spine. Which song on this list gave you the strongest chills? And which forgotten classic would you add? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey through music history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more unforgettable songs from the past.